Chapter 21. What a Deal, That's Snowmobile. It was late fall of 1986, my second year teaching at Sandy Lake, a remote Northern Ontario First Nations reserve. The season had already brought an abundance of snow, and as usual, the arrival of airmail was the highlight of the staff room. Alongside letters and packages, magazines from the outside world offered a welcome distraction from the isolation of our fly-in community. One of the teachers had subscribed to snowmobiling magazines, which showcased the latest machines on the market. The idea of owning a snowmobile was more than just a tempting luxury. It was a practical necessity. Walking to the bay store for provisions was an exhausting chore, especially in frigid temperatures, and hauling groceries across the community was not fun. Jean and I agreed a snowmobile would make life considerably easier. The closest dealer was hundreds of kilometers south, involving a plane ride to Red Lake. A quick phone call and a credit card transaction later, a brand new snowmobile was loaded onto a Twin Otter aircraft set for next day delivery. The next afternoon, a steady north wind swept across the landing strip, lifting fine, swirling particles of dry snow into the air. The bitter cold created static electricity, making my hair crackle and cling to my parka as I jogged towards the plane. The Twin Otter had already landed, its lone pilot unloading cargo. A pickup truck rumbled past, disappearing into the white haze. Then, to my satisfaction, the last item was shoved through the plane's doorway with well-practiced ease, my brand new snowmobile. It landed perfectly upright on the runway, and as the Twin Otter taxied away, its powerful propellers kicked up two swirling funnels of snow. By the time I reached the machine, it looked almost out of place, an untouched anomaly against the stark, windswept landscape. Still wrapped in its protective plastic film, it gleamed in pristine showroom condition. I grabbed the pull start cord and gave it one good yank. The engine roared to life, surrounding me in a sweet haze of blue stroke smoke. Grinning, I hummed Stompin' Tom Connor's song, "Oh, what a deal, that snowmobile," all the way home. Owning a snowmobile was liberating. We could now explore the community, travel across frozen lakes, and venture into the vast boreal forest with ease. Snow covered everything, smoothing out the landscape and allowing for effortless movement. The sheer thrill of speeding across an open, frozen lake was unlike any other sensation, a perfect mix of cold air, raw speed, and exhilaration. In Sandy Lake, snowmobiles aren't just for fun, they're essential. The preferred machine among the locals was the Bombardier Elan, a narrow single-cylinder workhorse. These weren't fast, but they were sturdy, reliable, and built for pulling heavy loads over long distances. The Elans were also used for a uniquely northern form of school transport. Large wooden box sleds, humorously referred to as school buses, were hitched to the back of the Elan. Dressed in layers of clothing, children would stand packed together inside as the sleds skidded towards the school in the early morning cold. The younger kids looked like pillows with legs, bundled up to the point of near immobility. The teenagers, in contrast, bafflingly opted for light jean jackets, seemingly indifferent to the bitter temperatures. Shortly after purchasing the snowmobile, I struck up a conversation with David Kakagamek, a fellow native teacher, and upon hearing about my new snowmobile, he invited me to join him on his Saturday morning trapline check. I took it as an honor and eagerly agreed. With a full tank of gas, we set out. David's skidoo looked battered, but was perfectly suited for the winding trails of dense bush. It looked like he wasn't concerned with appearances. a stark contrast to my own pristine, untouched machine. He pulled a heavy wooden box sled behind him. We crossed the frozen lake and entered the thick forest. The trail twisted sharply, winding through dense spruce and alder. Hills rose and fell behind us, adding to the thrill of the ride. For the first time, I fully appreciated the untouched wilderness. No roads, no fences, no power lines, just a single snowmobile trail cutting through an ancient, unchanged world. It was no surprise that people of this land saw themselves as stewards of it. Determined to keep up with David's pace, I pressed on. The trail narrowed, the trees pressed in, and suddenly my snowmobile lurched to a full stop. I was wedged between two small trees, trapped in a tight section of bush that David had effortlessly slipped through. I yanked the throttle. The engine revved, but the track spun uselessly, kicking up a spray of snow and dirt. Meanwhile, David was disappearing ahead, his snowmobile soon lost to sight. I hit the kill switch, pulled off my beaver pelt hat, and let out a frustrated stream of expletives into the cloud of blue two-stroke smoke. Silence. Absolute deafening silence. My ears stung from the cold. My brand new snowmobile was stuck. I was alone in the bush, and David was nowhere in sight. Whether by design or indifference, he had left me behind. I replaced my hat and tried to focus. If I could just get free, I could follow his tracks. After considerable effort, I broke loose, only to get bogged down again, battling through the thickets of alder. I was certain how David had purposely chosen this route, knowing my wider machine wouldn't fit. And worse yet, my once spotless snowmobile was now covered in scratches and scrapes. I could hear David snickering. Eventually, I caught up. He was reclined on his sled, smoking a cigarette, seemingly unconcerned. His sled was now loaded, several martens and rabbits from his trap line. "What took you so long?" he asked, barely suppressing a chuckle. I glared. Then, as if nothing had happened, he said, "Come on, I need your help pulling up beavers." We trudged through knee-deep snow towards a beaver lodge. One by one, we pulled up the traps, a total of 32 beavers. No wonder he needed that heavy sled. As we prepared to leave, David's snowmobile refused to start. He had burned a piston. The engine was dead. The only option I had was to tow him, along with his broken snowmobile sled and all 32 beavers, back to the reserve. The extra weight strained my machine, but we pressed on. This time, David led us down a suspiciously shorter route, a clear trail, free of narrow trees. Finally home, I surveyed the damage. My brand new snowmobile was now scratched, scuffed, and permanently dulled. David smirked. "Give it a few days, you won't even notice." He was right, and maybe, just maybe, this may have been his way of welcoming me to his world.